we're back to Omen Exitio Plague. Welcome back. Invisible Evil now. Let's see what's happening now. I don't like that German man that we did saw. I don't think he's a good man. You're at the headquarters during one of the quiet moments granted by training. A man comes up to you, panting heavily, to tell you that you've been summoned to see Smith. Your curiosity piqued, you head to his office. Following the Battle of Zanzibar, you have no idea as to what Smith could want from you now. Nothing good. Or maybe, I don't know. You soon find yourself in front of Smith, who silently looks you up and down. His eyes freeze you to the spot. After looking at you for what seems like an infinity, the captain clears his throat and looks out towards the windows. The country is in a critical condition, Huntington. A dangerous disease is spreading along the borders of German Africa and British East Africa. Lovely. He turns his head, barely looking at you. Even the German border. Meyer mentioned a disease, an epidemic. Is this the same disease he was talking about? You wonder why Smith... Absolutely. Of course it's the same disease. Why wouldn't it be? You wonder why Smith is so interested in this mysterious outbreak, but you stay silent, waiting for him to continue. I'm going to lead a regiment which is departing now to investigate that area of the country and study the threat. I would like you to be part of the expedition. I guess that makes sense. I'd be doctor. Doctors would probably be helpful for that, you know. You are opening your mouth to answer when Smith turns back towards you and leans his arms on his desk. He's wearing a slightly pained expression, and then starts leafing through a stack of papers, carefully examining them. This time I need your academic skills more than your soldiering skills. Yeah, I've read your files. You are a doctor back in London, a very good doctor. I want you to join the expedition to study the disease. Will do. This is not what you expected. Working as a doctor reminds you of the failure which led you to run off to enlist to fight in order to avoid your painful feelings. You're unable to save the one person you love more than anyone else in the world. I can imagine why we wouldn't want to do any more of that. I mean, that was kind of the whole point of this. Now, Smith needs your medical skills, and you can't very well disobey his orders. Yet, you are unsure how to proceed. I'm kind of interested. I want to go for it. The captain gives a hint of a smile, barely changing the grave look in his eyes. It's clear, however, that he's relieved to know you'll be with him. Good. Good. Get to the armory. Sergeant Carrig will provide you with the equipment you'll need for the mission. Prepare yourself properly, Huntington. We will be heading into some dangerous places. Good. As you're walking to the armory, other thoughts gather in your mind. Your past is coming back to you like some kind of threatening shadow, cautiously approaching, waiting to pounce on you at first opportunity. One more mysterious disease to study, and that man, Meyer. You wonder whether this is the same disease or this is all just a bizarre coincidence. No, it's very clearly, obviously the same disease. Sergeant Carrig, you met him when you enlisted in London, and you have gradually taken to his scowling face in his harsh and abrupt manner. He's a pedantic and excessively dutiful man, but he probably wouldn't have been put in charge of weapons and supplies without these qualities. As always, he stares at you with half-closed eyes as if trying to focus on you. Huntington, what a pleasure to see you. Didn't know you would be assigned to this mission. I can't believe they'd still trust you with a rifle. You shut your whore mouth. He bursts into a brief, hoarse laugh at his own bad joke. I guess I'll be friendly. Sergeant, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but my aim has improved greatly since we first met. Now I can even hit a moving target. You spent some time chatting with Carrig, who keeps staring at you with that half-smile which splits his face into two asymmetric parts. He reminisces about an amusing incident from the past, which was considerably more embarrassing for you than for the sergeant. He appears delighted by these cadet memories. I'm so glad. I'm so very glad. After a while, you decide to cut him short so as to not be late for Smith's appointment with the regiment. I'm setting out again, Carrig. One more expedition. Something big's coming up. Yeah, give me some good shit. Something big? Is it a promotion, Huntington? You don't have enough scars to play the big veteran yet. You shut up. Give me the good shit. Whatever the good shit is. The sergeant laughs, but he watches you with a beady eye. He never pushes his mockery too far. You know perfectly well that Carrig likes you. He even took you under his wing to some measure. Well, Smith told me something about it already. It seems he has a thing for you, the captain. Well, if that's the case, you'll need the appropriate equipment. What is the appropriate equipment? You're not sure whether Smith is capable of having a thing for anyone or anything, but you don't dispute Carrig's words or even answer him. Carrig takes you to another part of the armory. This room is big, but mostly empty and somewhat abandoned looking. The war at the Sultan's palace must have drained a large portion of the British supplies and provisions. The racks are almost empty, and Carrick only puts 2 weapons on the table in front of you, a rifle and a pistol. Ooh, I'll take both of those. Oh. Huntington, you can choose 1 weapon only. This is in London. Our resources are limited. I want the rifle. I'm scared of what I'm going to run into. I want the bigger gun. I want the big boom gun. He dismantles the weapon and puts it back together with extraordinary familiarity. His movements are quick and precise. The sergeant carefully checks the rifle and hands it over to you together with some ammunition. Oh my god, I have a rifle. British Army service rifle for the mission in Zanzibar. Interesting. I want more of these. I just want more. I want to be able to pass all checks. Where are you heading, Huntington? Command hasn't told us a damn thing about the mission, and Smith is quieter than a mouse. Carrick pretends not to care, but it's obvious that he's extremely eager to know what's going on. Neither is he subtle. I'm good at speaking, right? I'm gonna speak. Yeah. There's a disease, some sort of epidemic, terrorizing the whole of East Africa. Smith wants me to join the expedition because he knows about my past as a doctor, and he'd like me to study the disease, but I'm not so sure that I will be able. I don't. You hesitate for a moment, your nervousness given away by your shaking hands. Carrick seems to notice it, and he stops you mid-sentence. Somehow, your being honest has granted you his sympathy. It sounds like a dangerous mission. I have something that might come in handy. Oh yeah, give me that extra shit. The sergeant starts thoroughly searching the drawers of the armory counter, carefully moving aside ammunition and mechanical junk of all kinds. Where the hell is it? I was sure I put it here. Oh, here it is. What is it? What is it? Oh my god, I get a pistol too. Fuck yeah. I mean, I think that's a bit... Wait, is that a flare gun? Carrick stands up and puts a little object in your hands. It resembles a gun, but it's tiny, like some sort of miniature toy rather than a real weapon. Can't help but notice that, unlike everything else here, the gun is entirely spotless, polished, and seemingly brand new. I know nothing about medicine, Jake. It's not my field. One thing I do know, though, is that in close contact with the enemy, this little thing here could be the difference between life and death. Oh. Nice little pistol. I can keep in my purse and blow some bitch away if they come at me wrong. Staring at you with extreme seriousness, he gives you the weapon and shows you how to grip it. It's a single-shot Colt Derringer. Derringer, that was what I was thinking of. Don't let its size fool you. It's as deadly as any other weapon, and easier to use than the rifle. Nice. He tries to diffuse the tension with an empty laugh and puts a hand on your shoulder. You put the Colt in an inner pocket and smile back at him. A silent gesture of gratitude. Yeah. Now to the storeroom. I've got something for you. Oh, even more stuff? I don't think I need more guns. You follow your old friend towards a fairly large room, as empty and dirty as the rest of the armory. It reminds you of the jungle where you trained with the rest of the regiment. Perhaps it's the same humidity, sticking your clothes uncomfortably to your body. There are crates scattered here and there, but you can clearly see that the British store of weapons and supplies is running low. This equipment belonged to a doctor who was discharged some years ago. Oh, I imagine doctor's supplies would be nice. Carrick puts a magnifying glass, some vials, surgical calipers, and a first aid kit. Of course I will accept. Why would I? No, that's exactly what I need. You carefully place the objects in your backpack and thank Carrick for everything. You talk about your time in London together and various other things before you say goodbye and take your leave. Oh my god, look at all the shit we have. Flasks, some magnifying glasses, a Colt Derringer. I keep seeing this thing update. Is it just that I'm getting experience? Is that all it's telling me? I think so. I don't really care about that. If I ain't got the experience to get a thingy, then I don't care. Good luck, Jake. The sergeant keeps watching you with his half-closed eyes as you walk away, chuckling to himself as usual. You walk back towards headquarters, tightening your backpack straps as you go. Smith and a small contingent of men are waiting for you in front of the barracks, ready to depart. Huntington, you're always late. I like him. He's cool. I'm happy you're here too. At least we'll have something decent to eat. I can't stand the food here much longer. There's insects in almost everything we're given. Ryan answers with a loud laugh and claps you on the back with all the delicacy of a London bare-knuckle fighter. They don't know how to make anything even remotely edible, I know. I just heard something about this mission. Something about a disease. What about you? Have you heard anything? After a moment's consideration, you decide to tell your friend what you know. Yeah, he's cool. Smith asked me to join this expedition as a doctor. He wants me to study this disease, and I'm afraid this is something serious. The Italian cook nods before his face lights up as he remembers something important. Oh? What have you remembered? Oh, I almost forgot. O'Bannon should be with us too. Oh, I'm so glad. As if summoned by some kind of ritual, O'Bannon appears at your side and puts his hand on your shoulder. Look who's here. Dr. Jacob Vespucci, the Golden Ladle. The Golden Ladle. He bursts out laughing, then whispers in your ear. Hey, little baby, let me whisper in your ear. I have some really nice bottles with me. It's going to be a good laugh. I'm so glad. I'm so fucking glad you found the alcohol. As usual, everything is a game for him. Somehow, each time O'Bannon opens his mouth, he reminds you of the stupid innocence of youth. Maybe it would be better if the Irishman were to take the situation more seriously. The good humor brought you by the young man is contagious, and you can't help but smile at his exuberance. He scares me. I feel like he's gonna fuck something up. I'm gonna scold him. We're not here to enjoy ourselves, O'Bannon. You better stop acting like an infant. Oh, if you don't want to go home in a box. Oh my goodness. You reproach him firmly, but nonetheless you know that you can appear cruel. Yes, of course. As you say, Doc. Oh, okay. It's not the reaction you expected from him. O'Bannon is taking your warning far too lightly. Oh, I see. More as a joke. He won't follow the rules. Is he really just a wild spirit in the wrong place, or maybe it's his youth and inexperience, combined with his strong personality? Could be. Despite everything, you feel more relaxed knowing that both of your friends will be part of the mission. You don't really know the other man in the regiment yet. Smith is in front of you, smoking his pipe intently. He's holding the hand of a small boy. He looks about 6. Noticing your presence, the captain approaches you with the child. This is a child. What do you think of him? Huntington, you haven't met my son yet. This is Scott. I don't know that I'd bring my son along with all this. He wants to come with us to see all the wild animals, but this mission is too important, isn't it? I really wouldn't take him. The child looks up at his father pleadingly, hoping to make him feel guilty. The captain's stern expression melts away as he ruffles his hair paternally. Another time, Scott. You say goodbye to Scott, who hides shyly behind his father. Smith yells out at the men. On the march, men. We have a long road ahead. Ooh, and there's a lot of shining shit I'm gonna look at. Oh, look. It's the ocean, everybody! Now, what do you want me to look at here? Just these people? We know these people. Oh. That was an achievement for getting that Derringer. Interesting. I can't do it. I don't need to be told about that game. You silly. You're back at sea. Since your arrival in Zanzibar, you haven't had a moment's peace, always being moved from place to place. Nonetheless, Helen's image is still engraved in your mind. The grief of her loss has torn you up inside. You hear her voice echoing in your head. She calls your name, pleading for your help. Jake, Jake. The horrors of your past still haven't left you, not even here on the other side of the world. Lost in your thoughts, you hadn't noticed that the vessel you're on, which is much smaller than the ship that brought you to Zanzibar, and just big enough to contain your squadron, has reached the docking point of a seemingly abandoned village. You don't know what to expect yet, but the idea of confronting the disease that Captain Smith was talking about is putting you on edge. What is it? We're still in the ocean. That doesn't help me. You quickly disembark from the ship and you get in line. Smith examines you, then orders a search of the village. You walk around the hut slowly and watchfully, as if expecting an attack at any moment, despite the village's abandoned appearance. You examine some dwellings, and it feels like you're in a horror story. I wonder. Maybe. Some beds are still warm, there's still food and water on the table, and abandoned wooden toys and utensils give the impression of recent activity. It looks as if the people here have suddenly vanished, disappeared into thin air. What, does the disease just make them just shrivel up and die? Then you hear something, a sizzle in the air, and an unidentifiable smell mixed with that of dying embers. You look and see smoke coming from behind a hut. Your heart skips a beat. Maybe someone's still here. You move closer quickly. You can't stand the creeps this village is giving you. You go around the hut, and there right in front of you is the answer to all your questions. Is it? Oh, they look horrible. The stink is unbearable and forces you to cover your nose with your hand. Flies do a grisly dance around the carbonized corpses, flitting here and there like loose cannons. You stare at the bodies stunned. Their flesh is covered by the remains of a bonfire, muscle exposed to the sparkling red embers, their carved up expressions swallowed by ashes. It's a pile of death, black smoke, and buzzing insects. Lovely. Behind you, you hear someone approaching at a quick pace. You recognize that unmistakable sound and you turn to see Captain Smith. He's clearly worried, although he's trying to hide it from himself and the rest of the men. All the men gaze at the bonfire while a blanket of silence falls upon you. How am I on observation and medicine? Are either of those good? My observation good. Hey, good. I want to observe better. You move closer to the corpses slowly with some reticence. Despite the chaos, you manage to examine some of them properly, and you can't see any visible wounds. You can't know how they died. I wish we knew enough not to touch shit. That's a real good thing that we done did learn. Don't touch the bad shit. You cannot know how they died only by observation, but this could well be the disease, as Smith had been talking about. That's not a good sign. As far as we know, this village should have been outside the contaminated area. Well, it does not appear to be. The captain's initial hesitation betrays his concern. Smith pulls out a map from his backpack after having searched for it for a few moments and shows it to you. He points to 3 small villages near the rebel camp. Can I see it? I want to see it. I don't. I wish I had taken that Tanzania 101 class. I don't. That Zanzibar Tanzania class that I did skip. We are near the German border. We have to proceed carefully. There might be enemy soldiers in this area. You're deciding which village to explore first when a noise emanating from a hut startles you, making you turn instantly with your rifles ready to shoot. Walking slowly and with a terrified expression, a man moves closer with his hands up in the air. Oh, don't touch! Don't be touching. Stop, I am friend. My name is Betsarai. I help. The man watches you with anxiety, still terrified of being riddled with bullets. Yeah, don't touch me. His glance moves frantically from one face to another, then it rests on yours. Smith gestures to lower the rifles, then he steps forward and addresses Betsarai. Who did this? Betsarai moves his eyes away from you like he woke up from some kind of trance. Follows Smith's gaze to the pile of charred corpses. Food? First eat, then help. Smith snorts annoyed. I mean, he's probably hungry. He's hungry. Give him something to eat. He's coming with us. He could be useful. Again, I'd like to know that he's cool first. Betsarai continues smiling, and Ryan gives him a food ration from his personal provisions. Smith's eyes return to his map while he slowly moves over to you. He passes the map to you. What do you think, Huntington? Where should we start from? Oh, I guess I'm calling the shots here. It is clear Smith has full confidence in your judgment. Your role in this mission is of primary importance. That scares me. That scares me. Right is right, so I'll go with the rightmost. As you enter the village, you're plunged into an eerie silence. You have a deja vu, reliving a memory that has come to knock at the door of your reality. It's exactly like the first handful of huts you saw when you came ashore. Empty homes and the signs of life that were extinguished in the blink of an eye. Smith gestures at you to split up and investigate. Let's look for clues, gang. While the vice of anguish grips your hearts once again, suddenly you hear a noise coming from the bushes around you, the murmur of foliage disturbed by the motion, branches rustling, the play of sunlight on the leaves turning into a dangerous glare. You whirl around, your heart skipping a beat, and you catch a glimpse of a shadow flitting from branch to branch. You exhale with relief. It was just it's bird. Listen here, the owls are not what they seem. You advance deep into the forest, branches twisting away from the trees as if trying to escape the hold of the trunk, as though they were frozen in their contorted attempt at escaping, drawing disquieting shadows in the daylight, through which they slice with crooked fingers. You can almost hear them screaming. No, you're really hearing a voice. Somebody's actually screaming in the abandoned village. It's Betsarai. Aww. What would he be screaming about? I want to know. You run, moving the branches away from your face, and those you miss scratch you as if trying to hold you there to share their pain. When you get to the interpreter, he's in shock. He's upset, babbling, his eyes wide, gesturing frantically at the forest. Devil! Devil! Oh. You cannot understand what he means. I speak good. You try to calm down Betsarai, putting your hands on his shoulders and looking at him straight in the eyes. You let him vent and talk to you, replying to him in a calm and steady voice. You ask him to explain more clearly what devil he has seen. I can. Thinking medicine or agility. A medicine check just came up. Do you think they'd have another one come up soon after? Do you think? Maybe agility would be better. I don't think I care about fighting as much. I'm gonna go medicine. I'm gonna do it. Fuck it. Fuck it. I know what I'm doing. White man, naked, red eyes, cries blood, want to kill. Oh, okay. You wonder what he could have seen, or whether his words, however was it Bob? Was it Bob? You wonder what he could have seen, or whether his words, however implausible, are an accurate description of the truth. Could he really have seen a white man seemingly possessed? Yes. Yes. You don't have time to question him further. Oh. A figure suddenly appears out of nowhere and attacks you. Shit, maybe I should have taken fighting. It's a fair-skinned man shouting incoherent words. In an instant, he throws you to the ground and wraps his hands around your neck. Shit! Your vision grows dim and small flashes seem to lure you. I feel like fighting or agility would have both been very useful. Your vision grows dim and small flashes seem to lure you into unconsciousness, your pupils filling with glowing flecks. You know you're about to lose consciousness as you struggle to breathe. His bloodshot eyes and the grip of madness are fixed on you. The man gnashes his teeth like an animal so hard that it's audible. Ooh, I don't know if it's gonna be enough, but I feel like I should still try. No! You manage to throw the aggressor off balance with a thrust of your back, but the elbow jab you follow with makes contact with his face too weakly. Oh, we just kinda So the man reacts immediately, twisting his legs around your body and raining punches and scratches down on you. Shit! You're about to lose consciousness again when suddenly your enemy freezes, caught suddenly by Vespucci's bayonet now piercing his body from behind, right through his spine. Oh, shit. Blood drips from the madman's mouth as he stares at you wild-eyed and exhales his last breath before collapsing on you lifeless. Can I shower? Oh, shit, I've been injured. Where does that show up? Is that on my... That happen on my character sheet? Oh... Well, we've gone down in the world. O'Bannon and Vespucci help you to push the white man's body off of you, dropping it aside. Your uniform is utterly drenched with his blood, and for a moment, oh, ew. The exhaustion and the stench provoke a wave of nausea. You repress it, opting instead to reach for the hand that the Irishman has extended to help you back on your feet. Thank you. I'd really love to shower. I'd really love some soap right about now. You catch your breath, eyeing in turn O'Bannon and mostly Vespucci. Without his intervention, you'd surely died in the madman's frenzied chokehold. Yeah. Don't mention it, mate. Just doing my duty. What of the point, though? What the devil got into him? A devil indeed, huh, Doc? Yeah. O'Bannon tries to diffuse the tension. You proceed to examine the victim's body, and after a few minutes of analysis... If we hadn't done that, would Betsarai have just been dead? Poor Betsarai. And after a few minutes of analysis, you're ready to give your diagnosis. Am I? You explain to your companions that you believe the case is a fever, most likely of the malaric type. The only thing that doesn't make sense are those wounds, utterly foreign to malaria or indeed any known disease. I bet it's the weird disease. I bet it's the Lovecraft disease. On the man's body, you observe lesions and small bleeding sores. You turn this stranger's corpse on its front and inspect his back and neck. There you discover more of those wounds, marking his skin, blood flowing profusely. So it gives them a fever, makes them go crazy, and they start bleeding from everywhere. That sounds fucking horrible. That sounds wretched. Oh, that looks like something I've seen before. On the back of his neck, you see something unusual. They look like insect bites, but they are symmetrical, as if they were left there deliberately, in a precise order, indeed. They remind you of a diamond with a circle within. Nothing could be less natural than this. That's the eye thing. I saw it. I saw it with my eyes. In the meantime, Smith, Betsarai, and the other men from the regiment have joined you. The interpreter is still shaken by his previous experience and keeps his distance from the German, while Smith turns to you with an angry expression. Yeah. We found the surviving villagers. The disease has spread to this place too. They say that the white man belongs to a larger group which abandoned him around here some days ago. You're troubled. Yeah, I'd say so. This expedition is turning into an endless nightmare. Too many questions are crowding your mind right now. For a start, what was that man doing in the village? Was it mere chance, or was the situation set up deliberately? Right is right. You reach the village which has its... Oh, they hear. You reach the village which has its borders delimited by its huts. The air is gloomy and almost solemn, and a group of people, men and women, are swaying from side to side and singing in the middle of a rural square, as if bewitched by a spell. Smith gestures for Betsarai to go and talk to them. The reek of death meets your nostrils. Hey, go talk to him. Go talk to him. The interpreter approaches one of the men standing in a circle. They speak softly for a few moments. The man listens and nods. When Betsarai comes back, Smith asks him what's happening. A funeral? Yeah. The men are gathered around a bonfire, and the whole village is covered by a thin shroud of ash. Some corpses must have been burned here too. You suppose the camp survivors you previously reached went directly to these groups of huts. You can see dead bodies wrapped up in sheets being taken from a hut nearby to the bonfire. The fire is about to be lit once more. Oh, they got a lot of bodies. You have to prevent those bodies. Oh, it may be your only chance. Examining still fresh corpses before the natural process of decomposition makes it impossible to identify any distinguishing features of the disease. I mean, I feel like Betsarai is more likely to be able to do anything. I feel like if we throw Smith at it, they're just gonna say, go fuck yourself. Please? Betsarai exchanges some words with the villagers, who seem confused and shocked. They are not persuaded by the... God damn it! Or maybe they just don't understand why one would want to examine corpses. God fucking damn it! You approach the bonfire without hesitation and start to examine bodies. The villagers make no attempts to stop you, and they seem engrossed by something else. Oh, good. One whispers fearfully to a fellow villager and steps backward for no apparent reason. You are not sure what Betsarai has told them, but he must have been very convincing. Oh, good. You put such thoughts out of your mind and go on with the examination. There are abrasions on the bodies, but no wounds. The corpses' eyes are bloodshot, and after taking a better, deeper look, you realize that these men have probably had several hemorrhages. The abrasions must be what is left of their infected sores. Ew. The dead cannot tell you anything more. You move away from the bonfire and you signal to Betsarai, who immediately says something to the villagers. The ritual restarts as though you had never interrupted it, with the people dancing and chanting. You've taken only a few steps away when you hear the crackles of fire from behind you. The flames are rising up, consuming both wood and rotting cadavers. You respectfully stay silent to observe the ritual, watching the bodies burning and shriveling on the bonfire. The funeral chant is bewitching. They are singing a dirge which seems to come from another world. For a moment you are enchanted and mesmerized. A shout puts a sudden stop to the chanting. A woman emerges from a hut screaming and tries to throw herself onto the bonfire. Oh. The villagers manage to stop her before she can reach the flames. The woman, weak with despair, is carried away and taken to a corner. Some men keep an eye on her to prevent her from attempting to reach the bonfire again. Her whimpers are uneven, interrupted by her weeping and shaking. You signal to Betsarai to follow you while you approach her. She's now taken on a fetal position and is rocking back and forth. The woman keeps shaking and talking nonsense for a few moments, but Betsarai's words seem to work. She raises her tear-stained face, stops her nonsensical muttering, and begins answering the interpreter's questions. Yeah, what is she saying exactly? I mean, I have an idea. She wants to run, escape. You raise an eyebrow, wondering whether Betsarai speaks the same dialect as the woman. It's clear she didn't want to run, she wanted to kill herself. I mean, in a way, that's escape, you know, from a certain point of view. Maybe the interpreter's making fun of you, or the woman is talking nonsense again. No, I don't think so. You go back to observing the villagers' ritual. Their funeral chants and dances have resumed around the bonfire, and they look as though they are under the effects of some kind of hallucinogenic drug. Betsarai continues to keep an eye on the woman, who, meanwhile, seems to have calmed down completely. He's talking to her, probably trying to figure out more about the situation. Good job, Betsarai. Oh. Suddenly you hear a loud thud behind you, and when you turn, you see the interpreter pushed to the ground by the woman, who nimbly avoids you and sprints towards the bonfire. Damn it. This time, the villagers are too focused on the ritual, and they notice the running figure too late. She's enveloped by the flames. The groaning cries of the people are silenced by the screams coming from the bonfire. It's an agonizing and inhuman wailing, in the face of which no action can be undertaken but horrified staring. Everyone watches the dark shape of the woman fading in the roaring fire, her features horribly disfigured by the bright white flames. The ritual is nearly over and the flames are dying. Nobody wants to get close to the ashes and human bones, possibly afraid of seeing the remains of the suicidal woman. Your comrades are fearfully murmuring. They want to retreat. I can imagine. Yeah, I can definitely imagine wanting to get the fuck out of here. I've never heard such screaming. Yeah. There's a first time for everything, Huntington. Screams of pain are always dreadful. It's hard enough to hear them when it's you doing the killing, but these, they get into your mind and never leave. After a short silence, you and the men move on from the village to your next destination. The agonized yelling of that woman is still echoing in your mind. Right is right. Upon entering the village, you immediately feel a welcoming atmosphere. Oh, this place is so much better. Smith is relieved when he sees men and women moving peacefully among the huts. Two of them approach you. It's the shaman with his daughter. Do you speak our language? Do you speak the king's English? The girl smiles, she answers affirmatively, and says she often deals with the British, who have decided to call her Lorraine for ease. If you need a rest, you can stay here for the night. Oh, that sounds lovely. Smith looks at his men, and after a moment, he nods, accepting the offer. Some rest will be good for you all. Oh yeah. When the evening falls and the men have organized themselves for the night, a big bonfire is lit in the middle of the village. I don't know if I like these bonfires anymore. I don't know about them. Got anything interesting? Just the people's names. Yeah. Oh no, not that one. That one. O'Bannon sings a song and pulls out a bottle of whiskey. Where the fuck does he get all this whiskey? Where the fuck is he getting all of it? I don't understand. Did the Irish just materialize it? Sharing it with the others. Ryan's dinner has refreshed you and you can finally enjoy a moment of quiet. The shaman moves closer and asks Smith to follow him. He wants him to go to his hut. The captain watches the man with a grim look on his face and with the bonfire's flame reflected in the lenses of his glasses. Then he stands without saying a word and follows the shaman to a hut that is bigger than the others. I want to be in the room. You notice that Lorraine, however, is moving away from the village. I'm going to stick my nose in her business. The girl goes deep into the greenery. In the starlight, you see her looking for some herbs, choosing and picking some of them up from the ground, and then put them into some kind of woven basket. I mean, it doesn't seem particularly weird what she's doing. Although I feel like just silently observing, I'll get caught and it'll be weird. I'll just ask her. And leaps behind a tree, dropping the basket in the process. You're embarrassed and you apologize, and you pick up the basket and pass it to her. I'm sorry, it's me, Jake. Lorraine relaxes, smiles, and starts to explain that she's looking for some particular herbs. She needs them to prepare a concoction to protect the villagers. Her words definitely intrigue you. Is this concoction connected to the disease? I am very interested. I feel like I should let her speak, though. No, don't hesitate. And she seems to open up and starts talking about a mysterious disease. Oh yeah, give me that fucking lore, lady. Some weeks earlier, a sick man arrived at the village hallucinating and delirious. Believing he had been afflicted by some kind of curse, Lorraine gave him the medicine, hoping to defeat the evil that was distressing the man. Within a couple hours, the man had calmed down, and then his sores healed in one night. Oh. The concoction saved both his body and mind, although he remembers almost nothing about his journey before the village. Huh. Since then, rumors of the disease have been frequently heard, although none of the villagers have become sick. Lorraine prepares the concoction for each man, woman, and child in the village. Day after day, it has become her role to protect the village so that the disease never touches her loved ones, her family, and community. I would certainly love to know this concoction, if you would teach me. Why are you doing this and not your father? Isn't he the shaman? Glimmer of sadness passes over the girl's eyes. Because he won't be shaman forever, and I'll have to take his place, and he says that time is soon to come. Yeah, you realize you've touched a very sensitive topic, and you instinctively put your hand on her shoulder to comfort her. Lorraine looks at you straight in the eye as though she's attempting to locate something deep inside of you. Her pupils dilate even in the darkness. You experience a thrill. How long has it been since a woman looked at you like that? Are we about to fuck? You deal with diseases too, right? I do! You nod. You cannot stop staring at her. The sounds of the night gather around you. Lorraine seems closer and closer, and then instinctively you find yourself moving towards her. Now, listen. Diseases are spread easily through close contact, you know. If you weren't aware. I was a doctor before joining the army. Lorraine hesitates for an instant, and then she smiles and turns. She goes back to gathering the needed herbs for the concoction. Yes, please show me how. Lorraine gestures for you to follow her, bringing you to her hut. She sets a little fire, prepares some clay bowls, showing you how to prepare the concoction. Yes! You watch each of her movements while she mixes what's left of the plant with some liquids, boiling it and then filtering the mixture multiple times. The concoction is ready. With the approval of Lorraine, you pour some of the concoction into a vial, storing it with great care, slipping it into your backpack, and then you drink a spoonful. I'm very glad I did that. Like, that is the most important thing. We should certainly always do it first. It's like, listen, if you're on a plane, you put the mask over yourself first, okay? That's how it works. You leave the hut and join your companions around the fire. You join O'Bannon's new drinking game. He already seems too drunk to understand that it's time to stop. Soon enough, his whiskey gets you all fairly drunk, and you find yourself staring at the swaying heads of your comrades. The Irishman seems unstoppable, and he continues singing cheerfully. Just as Lorraine approaches each of you with the big clay bowl, it holds the concoction she has prepared, and she offers it to you and all the soldiers. Lost in the effects of the alcohol, you all accept the offer to drink the mysterious liquid. It's fine. It's so fine. Then you drink more whiskey to take away the awful taste of the concoction. The world around you starts to cloud, colors slowly blur, starting to light up more and more, while the shapes of the object and your comrades melt into weird, incomprehensible fractals. You don't know whether it's O'Bannon's whiskey or Lorraine's pungent mixture, but at some point, you don't know whether you're awake or dreaming. Lorraine walks up to you with her light steps. Jake, come with me. I want to show you one more thing about our medicine. Oh? Lorraine takes your hand softly. You feel a thrill. Yeah, fuck it. Let's go. While you follow her, Lorraine's shoulders seem to stiffen as she walks. Her steps become less and less steady, and she turns to look at you. If you feel her tension. You seem upset. Is something bothering you? Lorraine moves on the spot. She seems uncertain, as if she doesn't know what she wants to show you anymore. Or maybe she just made up an excuse to take you inside her hut? Are we fucking? Jake, there are moments I am really terrified. If it wasn't for our medicine, I wouldn't know what to do. The village relies on me, and I'm not sure I can fight against this evil. Instinctively, you feel the desire to drive her fear away, and without thought, you close your arms around her, bringing her closer to you. After a few seconds of embarrassment, Lorraine returns the hug. How many months have passed since you've been close to a woman? The girl brings you to the foot of her bed. She slowly starts to undress, letting her clothes fall to the ground. Now, again, diseases spread so easily through close contact, I must say. Her face disappears for an instant, hidden behind the poor fabric of her dress, but when it reappears from beneath her garments, it seems that Lorraine now has Helen's face. I guess I'll stay. It was a moment, a fleeting instant, maybe brought on by alcohol and tiredness yet. You definitely don't want to overthink it. You wipe those thoughts away and that image from your head, focusing on the young woman in front of you. Lorraine touches you lightly, helping you to undress. You're clumsy, nervous, and you're acting as if this was your first time. You feel like a young novice who, after hoarding a little sum of money, wastes all of it on a brothel, shaking with fear and excitement about his first experience. We can all relate. Lorraine smiles, then she closes her eyes, moving her lips to yours. Your tongues meet hungrily, imitating the convulsive and delirious movements of a ritual dance, brushing and darting away before meeting again. Your shapes cast on the walls of the hut. I don't know if I care for this music. I don't know if I like this little sound they've got going. Your shapes cast on the walls of the hut enlarge and engulf each other. Your hands don't caress, don't brush gently, but they violently press on each other's skin, and a tangle of fingers searching and chasing. You roll around on the bed like animals fighting for supremacy. Eventually, you find yourselves in each other, and your moans heighten and rise in synchrony, until that evening's fleeting climax leaves you both exhausted and at peace. I got scared. I thought I was about to get got somehow. You spend the night with Lorraine, but the only thing that welcomes you upon your awakening is a violent and painful headache. Aww. The shaman's daughter must have left already. You yawn and try to get yourself together before leaving the hut to join your comrades, who are already having breakfast. Ryan shoots you a knowing glance, sneering loudly. You had a good time last night. Was I really loud? You see the bottles of whiskey scattered on the ground and smile at the cook, kicking one of the last empty alcohol vessels from last night. Well, I can see you enjoyed yourselves, too. If you prefer, we can switch next time. I wouldn't want you tiring yourself out. Oh, we gonna do some fun stuff? You move closer and give him a friendly jab, sitting beside him and starting to chat with the other soldiers. You're talking to Ryan while you eat some delicious bacon prepared by the Italian. When Smith approaches, it's time to go. The men get ready and the captain talks to you. Did you find out anything about the disease? I did. Lorraine gave me a concoction which may hinder the effects of the disease, or even heal an infected person, but it needs to be tested to make sure it works. Some good news, finally, indeed. I managed to talk with the shaman, and he told me some men in tunics have crossed the border. Everyone in the nearby villages is talking about it, and they may be involved with the disease. We need to be careful. Ooh, okay, interesting. I don't like this disease. It seems really horrible. It seems bad, and I don't want to get it. I wish I had more. I wish I had, I want, several of these and not just one, you know? I'm glad I got the one, though. I'm glad I finagled myself into getting at least one antidote. So that's nice. Very interested in where this is going. I think it's going to get real bad, though. I have a feeling it's going to get bad. We're already burning bodies. It didn't take long. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed. If you have, come back and watch next time. Goodbye!